So, Craig Overton, welcome back to the Cooper Associates County Ground after an operation. Tell us a little bit about what you've been through over the last few weeks.
Yeah, so it's been it's actually been quite smooth sailing really. I sort of touch wood that it's going to keep going like that, but it's actually been really nice, and so it was sort of needed really. I'd sort of been managing it for probably close to 3 years now, with the last sort of year and a half, 2 years with injections into the back, and they'd started wearing off, and I had one sort of back end of the summer and it hadn't quite worked how we needed to, and it was just getting worse sort of day by day, and sort of bit the bullet a little bit. Obviously everyone's sort of wary of bowlers are of back operations and thinking they're quite sort of doom and gloom, but this, when I saw the surgeon, he said this is quite a sort of simple procedure, and he said you'll probably feel instantly better, and so I went with the surgery and woke up after the sort of being knocked out for a couple of hours and instantly felt better, which has been quite nice, and haven't had any issues with the leg since, and it's been really good.
Was there any doubt in your mind about having the operation? Obviously, there was the chance of playing franchise white ball cricket in the new year. That was obviously in the schedule, but was it a case of, I need to get this done now?
Yeah, I think sort of before, sort of back end of the summer, it was always get through this winter and get through next summer, and then probably see how it is. But I always knew I probably needed the operation. But the fact that the jabs didn't work sort of back end of last summer, it meant that sort of had to be pushed forward a little bit, and it was obviously frustrating not to be able to go to South Africa with the comp out there, but I think it was more important to get my body right and hopefully be able to play for another 10 years rather than pushing it a little bit and the disc then completely going and then might not be able to play at all. So we did the right thing in the end, and we sort of pushed it to as much as we could, and it didn't quite work out how we wanted to, but the operation was always there, so if we needed it to, and it seems to be a success so far.
So longevity was the key?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've always wanted to sort of play to probably not quite Chez's age, but if I can get to 38, 39, I'll be pretty pleased, and hopefully I've got a few more overs in my legs.
Are you surprised that you're backing up and about and back here at work, if you can call it that, so quickly?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think so. Obviously, I had the surgery and woke up and felt pretty good actually. A little bit stiff, and as you'd imagine, but didn't really feel too sore or anything. And that night, sort of, Asher went home and sort of went back to the hotel and just chilled. And my dad came actually because he was working up in London, and we sat and watched the football. And I sat on the edge of the bed, and the nurse that was there in the morning hadn't been there all day, and then came back in the evening and sort of said, "Why are you sat up on the edge of the bed? Are you not sore?" And I was like, "No, I feel fine." Like, been like walking around and stuff, and obviously was quite a lot slower than what I am walking now, but everything felt fine and it wasn't too sore or anything. So it's been quite a nice sort of recovery a little bit, and we've taken it easy, and the first sort of 6-8 weeks are quite easy, but after that I can start ramping up quite quickly.
So now we've got the classic battle between professional athlete and science and medicine team, and I imagine you want to be getting the ball in your hand as quickly as possible, and they want to be making sure that you leave that to the last minute. How are you and Jamie Thorp getting on at the moment? What's that relationship like?
No, I'm pretty good actually. I actually don't want to bowl till after Christmas anyway, so I do enough of it in the summer. So I quite enjoy sort of a bit of time off till sort of Christmas, have those sort of 3 months off, and then start building back up. And I'm sure it'll be a slow progress, but I think that's probably even better for my body to sort of save those overs as much as we can. And it's not like I'm 25 anymore. I'm getting almost to 30. So I know my sort of career is coming to the back end almost, but I still think I've got plenty of time left.
You've talked a little bit about what you'll be doing. What is your rehab program looking like at the moment?
So at the minute, like I can't lift anything more than sort of 3 to 5 kilos. So it's not exactly much. Done lots of like core exercises, lots of body weight things, and just sort of starting to build up that sort of movement in my back. So obviously when the surgery happens, the back sort of seizes up a little bit and it gets a bit stiff. So basically just getting that back moving, getting my pelvis moving, and just getting that core a bit stronger, so the whole area just feels a bit easier, and I can then start moving around a bit more. And it's nothing too strenuous at the minute. And Lewis keeps coming in and saying just keep breathing, because I'm doing lots of breathing exercises with Thorpe, which is a bit tedious, but it's needed, and hopefully in the long run that will sort of serve me well when I start to do sort of those weight exercises and starting to get closer to the season.
Obviously, being in rehab is a frustrating process, but it's a great team sort of ethic and ethos here. Is it good to be back amongst the lads?
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, obviously no one wants to be in rehab, and no one wants to be injured in the first place. So to be rehabbing for probably 5 months is going to be a long time, but I think it's actually sort of been quite nice that I probably haven't had this amount of time off in almost 10, 12 years. So to have this amount of time just to sort of let my body rest and actually not play any cricket is probably quite nice, and sort of make the most of this time. Like on sort of back end of or after Christmas, I can sort of work on a few more skills and actually sort of develop my game a little bit more, whereas I probably haven't had the time to sort of put in sort of those 8 to 12 weeks of work in the last 10 years. So it'll be a nice sort of time to be able to work on things, and yeah, good to be around the boys. There's been quite a few in actually, and I think there's been a few sort of go off the last couple of weeks with the new competitions coming up. So it's been nice to be around them, and obviously I want to sort of get involved, but there's plenty of time after Christmas to do that.
2023 was a great season for yourself and the team, but given the amount of pain and discomfort that you were in, your performances seem even more remarkable now that we find out about it. But winning the Blast, performing like you did, taking a couple catches here as well for the cameras. How would you sum up 2023 for yourself?
Yeah, it was obviously a pretty special one. Obviously, our aim is always to win trophies. So to win the T20 last year was pretty special. Obviously, we've been so close to sort of the last 4 or 5 years getting to final stage sort of consistently. So to finally get over the line was pretty special, and obviously having all those fans there on final stage, I think we had most of them there. I think we covered half of the crowd basically with Somerset fans, which was pretty special. And yeah, it was obviously nice to win. Obviously the championship didn't quite go to plan. We sort of started a bit slowly, but we sort of got into a rhythm sort of the middle of the phase, and obviously the back end was a bit frustrating with the weather and things. But I think we sort of, the batting group's probably quite a young group, and the bowling group, we sort of had lots of niggles throughout the year, and it didn't quite click. But to sort of have that safety of Div 1 and make sure we can go again this year was pretty important, and I think we're in a good place for coming into this year.
Strengthening again with Jake Ball coming in. Thoughts on that?
I think it's a great signing. Obviously we lost Brooksy back end last year, and I think Ball's sort of similar sort of type of player when Brooksy came into us. Sort of, he's probably not going to play every 4-day game, but he's going to be here, there and there to try and play some of them, and obviously add depth to our T20 squad as well. So he's a great signing for us. He's obviously played international cricket and knows his game in and out. So and he's another experienced bowler that we sometimes needed. So he's going to be great for us, and hopefully he can contribute to us winning another T20 trophy, because he's won a few with Notts before.
What does 2024 hold for Craig Overton, both with Somerset and potentially beyond?
Hopefully I'll be fit for the whole year, and I don't have any of these back issues anymore, and I can sort of play how I want to play rather than sort of having to hold back a lot sometimes, and I can go out and show what I can do sort of every day, and not be worried about what my back's feeling and what my leg's feeling. So just go out and hopefully be fit and show what I can do, really.